Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV.
Hey there, YouTube. It is Major Dean once again. So, I realized that the Fuller House trailer just came out on Netflix not too long ago, and I wanted to go ahead and do a reaction to that. I wanted to check it out. I haven't really seen much of it besides a little teaser of the inside of the old house, but we didn't actually see who was in it. And if you don't know what Fuller House is, it's supposed to be a sequel series to the old 90s sitcom Full House, which was on the old TGIF ABC Fridays back in the late 80s, early 90s. So they're supposed to have pretty much everybody from the old series. I'm not exactly sure who exactly is going to be in it besides the two older daughters. Possibly Bob Saget, maybe Dave Coulier. I don't think he's really doing much anymore. And I doubt that John Stamos is going to be in it because he's got his own show now. But I am very curious to see what this is going to be about. I guess they're trying to, Netflix is trying to trying to mimic the Girl Meets World success by making a revival series or sequel series of an old sitcom as well. So here we go, Fuller House.
Isn't this crazy? I wound up living back in my old bedroom. I moved in here when I was 5. Now here we are again.
God, Stephanie got hot.
Oh, look, and there's Simba. Hola, Tara.
Oh, it's Kimmy Gibbler. I love Lori Loughlin.
They turn into that. Hi, Mom.
The twins?
Before we eat, I have something very important to say, okay?
Oh, they do have John Stamos.
Good.
I'm having a tough day too. I have 3 boys who count on me for everything. For the first time, we're gonna be all on our own.
Please, sit down. We're gonna have a little talk. You guys did your share for us. I am clearing my schedule, and I'm moving in with my sister. Steph, you need me right now.
And you need me. So I'm moving in too.
Kimmy, you do not need to do this.
I agree with DJ. You do not need to do this.
Mom, moving in with DJ and those boys is a terrible idea. I've waited my whole life to say this. Home sweet home! Whatever. Stop. Hammer time.
Oh my God, no, she did.
Stuck in the 90s. My moves are all that and a bag of chips.
Talk to the hand, loser. Oh, snap. You go, girl. I think I just did. Steve's so in love with DJ, he didn't even notice this sandwich. 3.
They're still together.
1.
Hey, is anybody using that sandwich?
It's the same guy. Oh.
You forgot 2 very important words.
Have mercy.
No. How rude.
Got it out!
Yes.
Alright, come on in.
Ah, jeez.
DJ, it's girls' night out.
I don't know if I should be tugging this thing down or pulling it up.
Do you have reservations?
Yes, I feel like I should be at home with my kids.
Let's call Michelle.
It's 5 in the morning in New York.
Oh, voicemail.
You got it, dude!
All right, so that's going to be interesting. All right, so that was pretty interesting. I am kind of curious about actually watching this. Girl Meets. I know that the first one to kind of do this was Girl Meets World in terms of recent times, but and that actually took a little bit for it. Well, it took a little bit for it to, I don't know. That Girl Meets World, for me, I had to grow into Girl Meets World. That's what I'm trying to say. I had to grow into Girl Meets World. And I had to realize that it was kind of mimicking the old Boy Meets World, which a lot of people probably don't remember the early seasons of Boy Meets World, but Boy Meets World was very, very silly, and it was very goofy. And it was only once they got into high school that everything got serious. Like, for instance, when I first, for example, probably not very many people who watch Boy Meets World may remember Minkus, but Minkus was actually one of the main characters in the show. He was kind of Corey's. Minkus was Corey's, for lack of a better word, rival. In terms of like it was kind of like he was kind of like, Minkus was kind of Corey's rival, kind of like Newman and Seinfeld. And Minkus was the really smart kid. Corey was the really, really average kid. But Minkus loved to kind of poke fun at Corey. And back then, at that time, Topanga wasn't the beautiful social flower we know today, and she wasn't all that popular. In fact, and what I liked is that they actually made reference to this. Unlike the Girl Meets World made reference to this, unlike the later seasons of Boy Meets World. When Topanga was younger, back when they were in middle school, she was really, really weird. She showed some interest in Corey, but it wasn't like, I love Corey or anything like that, like they have now. But she was like a hippie, and she was like a psychic or medium. She was a medium. She could like commune with spirits and all this other, and she was like super vegan or something like that. Like, she was all into all that stuff. So anyway, I feel like Netflix is kind of trying to capitalize with that, with the apparent popularity of Girl Meets World, because if you don't realize, Girl Meets World is in something like its 3rd season, so it's apparently doing well for Disney. And Full House was a very popular series on ABC. It was one of the really, really big time sitcoms, if you've never heard of it, or if you've heard of it but never seen it. Full House was one of the original 90 big time 90s sitcoms on ABC, along with Family Matters, and I can't say Step by Step. I don't feel like Step by Step was on for a while, but not nearly as long as Full House or Family Matters. Full House was on ABC, was on TV, ran for something like 10 or 12 years, I want to say. Somewhere between 9 or 12 years. And Family Matters ran for a little bit longer than that. Probably about a year or two longer than Full House. So, one of the interesting things about Fuller House, one of the interesting things about Fuller House is that they're bringing back a lot of the older characters, and not just the main family, but the side ones too. Because one of the reasons I looked all surprised when Steve was there was that Steve was DJ's boyfriend. DJ was the mother's boyfriend, the oldest sister's boyfriend, for pretty much the entirety of, not the entirety, all of her high school years. Because I forgot, the show started when she was like 10 or something, 10 or 12 or whatever, and the girls all kind of grew up. And I remember Stephanie was this awkward looking kid, and now she's like really hot. So Steve was her boyfriend in like high school, or maybe late middle school, but definitely in high school. He was always there in high school. And I'll get to one of my favorite characters in just a moment. But And I'm also slightly surprised, but not fully surprised, that neither of the Olsen twins is coming back to be Michelle again, which is what they referenced the "You Got It, Dude," because that was her thing, was the "You Got It, Dude," and so apparently neither of the Olsen twins is going to come back and do that. But then again, maybe they might come back as a cameo, like Minkus did with Girl Meets World. So maybe they might be willing to do a cameo. Otherwise, if they're not willing to do it at all, my suggestion would be to bring in the third Olsen twin, the third Olsen twin, Elizabeth Olsen, and have her do it. Because if you don't know, the chick who was Scarlet Witch in the Avengers and what's her name's girlfriend or fiance in Godzilla is actually the youngest sister of the or not youngest, but she's a younger sister of the Olsen twins. And so if she's willing to do it, they could probably bring her in because she looks enough like them to pass as Michelle. And so I think one of the things I like most about this, they brought back pretty much everybody. All the adult characters are in this. You got Uncle Jesse, you got Uncle Joey, you got Dad, you got Lori Loughlin, who was Uncle Jesse's wife. They brought back their kids. I don't know if they're the same two boys, but they brought back the twins that they had during the show, but most of all, I think the person I am most happy to see is Kimmy Gibbler, and that was because I had a huge thing for Kimmy Gibbler back then. I thought she was just absolutely super cute and like the girl next door, and really really goofy and fun to be with. Of course, the only problem was her funky feet, but she's hot enough that I probably wouldn't even care about that. I'd just put on a gas mask and go to town. But but this will probably be interesting. I would like to see where it goes. Hopefully, Candace learned enough from her brother's experience with growing pains that she doesn't let her religiousness mess with the show's format. Because if you don't know, her real life brother, Candace Cameron Bure, her real brother is Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron played the older brother Mike, the oldest brother Mike from Growing Pains. And at some point as the oldest brother in the show, he was supposed to do dating, and he was supposed to do this and that, and like get into trouble and all this stuff. And at some point during the series, Kirk Cameron, the actor, got ultra religious. And when he did, he demanded that the show change to fit his religion. His religion. So what would happen is that he would insist that his character, Mike Seaver, couldn't do certain things. He refused to kiss he refused to kiss his on-screen girlfriend or something like that because he wasn't married to her. And then he found out that she was in some form of Maxim or something like that, the equivalent of the early 90s Maxim or something like that, and insisted that she get fired from the show because of that, because she took some racy pictures. And then we saw what happened to him today, which is that he is more or less a joke, and all he does is make ultra-religious movies that don't really make any money at all. And in some fashion, the reason I bring that up is that in some fashion, Candace followed his lead and she's also very, very religious. However, I don't either. She's not as religious. She's not as ultra religious. Either she's not as ultra religious as he is, or she isn't really as outspoken about it as he is. But hopefully she does not. She's learned from his experience, because he hasn't really learned from it. She's learned from her. She's learned from watching him that if she tries to impose her ultra religious value, or whatever religious value she has on the show, way too much, it will probably mess up everything. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. I have a Netflix account. I'll probably turn on the streaming so I can watch it at some point. Which will be... It's actually supposed to come out the end of this month. That's right. So, I will probably be watching that. Alright, so... what do you guys think about Fuller House? Is it something you're interested in at all? Or have you ever seen the original series, Full House? And do you have any memories from the show? I'd probably say one of the weirdest memories I have, and this is a whole other... this can lead into a whole other tangent, but I'll just briefly drop it. Drop this information, is that one of the weirdest things I remember from the show is when ABC started doing these crossover episodes, and this was after Family Matters had already shifted from kind of a somewhat serious with humorous moments, family drama, slightly family dramedy, to Steve Urkel and his Wacky Adventures format, which is that, and they did all these crossovers between Family Matters and Full House and Step by Step. And I forgot how he got to Full House. I remember he got to Step by Step because he built a jetpack, and the jetpack took him to Green Bay, which is where Step by Step is set.
You never would have fallen if you'd been wearing one of these babies.
What is that?
The one and only XJ3 jet-propelled Urkel pack.
But does it really work?
Why, abso-toodle-lootly. All you do is press this
No,
little
don't.
Relax, big guy. It's got a safety.
Good.
Unfortunately, it wasn't.
And somehow Steve Urkel also ended up coming over to Full House, and I think it was on Full House that he introduced the Urkel dance, which, those were very dark times. Very, very, very dark times. All right, so I'm going to stop yapping because I'm starting to run out of memory. But, let me know, like, comment, subscribe, etc., 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 and requests, all that good stuff. So, until next time, I will see you all around. Later.